Today we kick off our Every Member Canvas. And I think there are pledge envelopes out in the narthex for you to pick up on the way out. Look through there. If for some reason there's not one with your name on it, we do not want you to feel left out. So we will take care of that. Just let us know. We'll make sure you are invited. So please pick those up and save us the stamp for mailing it. But our first stewardship minute for this campaign is going to be brought to us by Brad Borders. Brad?
Good morning. When I walk into Trinity on Sunday mornings, the first thing I notice is the light coming through the stained glass windows. And I remember as a little boy looking up and feeling small but safe. On Easter mornings, this church would be dark, and Flint Norwood would read from the first words of Genesis, and he would say, "Let there be light." And the candles would flicker to life, and there was something in me that knew that there was something special going on here. I grew up here. I went to kindergarten here. I served as an acolyte. And when I was about 5 years old, Father Clay Turner taught me how to fly fish. That may not sound like a church activity, but to me it was a lesson in patience, stillness, and paying attention, and all things that still shape my faith today. My brother and I used to crawl under the pews during service, much to the chagrin of our parents, but those were the years when faith was being quietly planted in us, even when we weren't sitting still for it. And now, after 35 years of traveling the world and serving both as pastor and soldier, I've come home. Through the rhythm of the liturgy and the sharing of communion each week, I found the same peace that I knew as a child, only deeper. After remodeling my faith, I needed a place to heal, and Trinity has been that place. It's given me room to rest, to ask questions, and to keep growing. For me, home has a smell and a sound. It's the scent of the candles and fresh flowers on the altar. It's the changing colors of Father Brad's vestments to mark the seasons of the church year. It's the sound of our pipe organ and those old hymns whose words hold more theology than any sermon I've ever preached. And even though I can't sing worth a lick. Every week when Tammy and I walk forward to receive communion, we step right over the spot where 34 years ago we stood at the same altar and said our vows to each other. I don't remember much from that day except for the sweat dripping off my nose and how beautiful she was, and still is. But that moment shaped everything that came after, and now to walk that same path together each week side by side is a grace that I don't take for granted. I love Trinity because of the way it quietly serves this community, through the house calls group that helps neighbors, through food drives, hurricane relief, and through simple acts of kindness that no one announces. I think that's the gospel that's lived out behind the scenes. Last Sunday, we had the blessing of the animals, and it was pure joy. Dogs and cats and critters. It might have even surprised St. Francis himself. To thank God for these creatures that bless our lives reminded me that faith isn't just about people, it's about creation. And in the spring, we celebrate Rogation Sunday and pray for the work of our hands and the land itself. Another reminder that we are connected to the earth, to each other, and to our God. 5 decades ago, my mom brought me here as a little boy, and now in this season of her life, it's one of our greatest joys to bring her back here to the same pews, to the same light, to the same table. And I'm deeply grateful for the way this body of believers has loved her and cared for her, continues to walk with her in these years of her life. So why do I love Trinity? Because here faith feels like family, here grace has room to breathe, and here everyone, no matter their story, has a place at the table. Amen.
Thank you, Brad, very much.